A wonderful morning to you, wherever you've been watching us from, and welcome to another interesting edition of the program, The Profit Point, right here on Ogtv. It feels so good to be here once again, and it feels so good to know that you're on the other side of the TV set. On the program, we bring you latest happenings in the world of business. On the business review segment, we take a look at things that you can do to expand, grow your business, so that you can compete favorably in the market. On the sectoral segment, we also take a look at business ideas that you can invest your money in and you will not get to regret later. Now, on the program, we have experts as guests, those who have walked the talk, as a matter of fact. And so I'm so sure that you will definitely have a lot to learn from the program today. My name is Dominic Agbe saying welcome on board. Let us go on this break. When we come back, the program, The Profit Point, will be hitting the ground running. Do not go anywhere. Yes, it is the business review segment on the Profit Point right here on Ogtv, and that's the first segment of the program where we are going to be looking at business really. And this morning we are going to be looking at factors that you should or that you can't consider before going into business. You must count your costs. There is nobody who wants to build a house that should not count its costs. Ab initio, that's according to what the Bible says. And that's why today we are looking at what you need to consider really, factors that you need to consider before going into business really, so that you start rightly and then so that you will not get to end abruptly, or your business will not end abruptly. That's why we are going to be discussing factors that you must consider in starting a business on the program today. We're going to be looking at how to go about registering your business. Are there any advantages in registering your business? We're going to be looking at how to draw a business plan, feasibility study, how to study the market and the rest of these and many more we are going to be looking at. And I have in the studio to discuss this all-important topic, Mr. Oluwasegun Elegbede is an entrepreneur. It's a pleasure having you join us in the studio with us this morning.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Now, let us begin from the beginning, and by so doing, I'm going to be talking about the internal, the person in himself or herself that will be going into the business. What are those things really that person must possess really? Looking at the individual who wants to go into a business, what are those things that individual must have before going into that business?
Thank you. Number one thing is you have to be a selfless person, because business really is about providing solution to problems in your locality or in an area that you have identified. That is number one. You have to be a dedicated person. You have to be a very resolute one. More importantly, you have to have time for that business to thrive. You need to have time, because you will be needed to be working around the clock all of the time. We get to hear this a lot of the time, that to be your own boss, so that you can have freedom and all of that. It's a scam, really, because if as a business owner you do not have a time of your own. If you are an employee, you can restrict yourself to the official hours of your company. But as a business owner, you are working around the clock. Every time you are on your toes. So you must have time for that business you want to go into.
Even when you are in bed, you are still thinking
yes.
Your next move.
Your next move. But as an employee, you can leave all the thinking to your boss, or exactly. The business owner. That is one of the things that is very important, very key. Your time is very important. You must be available.
Now, experts also say that personal evaluation is actually key to starting a business. How important really is this act evaluating oneself, your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and the threat that you may even, have towards that business. How important really are these things?
It is very important because those are the things that would drive you to succeeding in the business that you really want to go into. They are very key. You must be able to delay gratification. You must be able to differentiate between our money and my money. The business money is not your money.
It's not your money. It's not.
So if you have investors who have given you money in trust to do business, you must be able to be disciplined, not to touch it. That is basically for this business, and you ensure. So you must be disciplined. You must be a faithful person. You must be dedicated. So the strength that you have, if you know you are someone that cannot play with people's money, you have to stay away from business. You are not in a rush to make money. You shouldn't be. If you are in the business just to cash out, to make money, then you may run out of that business in a very short period that you're starting it.
Now, maybe that's also why a lot of businesses really do not outlive their entrepreneurs. I mean, recent research or study actually revealed that, particularly in Nigeria, a lot of businesses do not outlive their entrepreneurs. Very few actually outlive, the entrepreneurs, and then they're handed over to, maybe second, third generations, of the owner or the person who started the business. Why really is that so?
Yeah, there's a culture that we need to deal with as Nigerians, and that's the culture as I want to own it all. In some instances, when your business begins to grow, you need to be able to identify the time you need to expand, and then you cannot do it on your own. Those are the times you need to bring in partnership. But because as Nigerians, we always want to be the alpha and the omega in that outfit. We don't want to share any stake with anybody. So it means you are trying to fend people off even when they are offering you that let's come into this business so that we can take it to the next level. So in a very short while, then another thing is, most of the time we do business without business plan. Before you delve into any business, there must be a business plan that after a while, you go back to check, are we still on track? Are we doing well? Do we need to tweak something? What do we need to do? If there are changes in the environmental factors, you need to also see a way you can also, respond to those factors accordingly so that you can sustain yourself in the business space.
Now, we'll still talk about a business plan and a visibility study, really. Because we have also come to discover that these are also very, very key, for any business, really. But let us look at the individual. Are there some businesses, really, that some persons cannot do, that is not suitable to for some persons, and then some businesses that, are suitable for these categories of individuals? What I'm saying, in essence, is, as an individual, can I think of doing any business and then I will survive doing that business or those businesses?
I think it is very important that for any business that you want to go into, you have a very broader knowledge about the business. If you do not have understanding of the business, it is going to be a big problem for you. Because just because you have some money somewhere, and then you feel you can just get experts in that field together, and you do not really understand the business, you are setting yourself to fail, because setting yourself up to fail, because at that point you really do not have the technical know-how to manage the resources you are bringing together. So you need to understand that this business, do I have the understanding that is required to make it scale up from this stage to this
another
stage.
Now, what should inform one's choice of a particular business? If I sit down and then I want to go into a business, what should actually make me say, this is the business that I like and I want to put my money in?
Passion is one. Passion, I mean, you for someone who just feel, doesn't, to some people, cooking is a lot of task. To some people, it's just like, I mean, just drinking water.
Joy, happiness, doing it.
So if that kind of person identify that skill, I mean, something that you can commercialize and start on a very small scale with family and friends, see how they respond to what you have, then from there you can begin to scale up. So passion is very key. Then again, when we were talking at the beginning, I said you being able to identify a particular need.
Problem.
You are able to see that there is this availability gap that needs to be met. And you sit down, you see the solution that meets the need. And then you know that this is something that you can actually do. You will feel it. Something that you feel that, yes, I can do it, then that's a business that I think you can go to. So, of course, the passion to solve that problem will drive you.
Now, let us look at the business plan, really. I mean, you have said the business plan is very, very important to the business. And a lot of people who do not actually have this business plan end up having their businesses fold up. Now, what should be in the business plan? How should one go about, drawing this business plan? Is business plan the same thing as feasibility study, or they are different things entirely?
Feasibility study is an integral part of a business plan. In the business plan, you have a path you want to follow. You are able to understand the funding that is needed for your business. Then you are able to scale it down to what is available at the moment. Then you can also have stages of growth and development that, okay, we'll start at this stage with our own fund. Then when we get to this stage, we inject fund from outsiders. So you do a layout. Then you can also plan on how many staff, employees that need to come in at the initial stage.
At different points.
At different points. So, and then okay, we need to now expand. Then from there, you also look at, okay, how you can move from one stage of your growth in terms of expansion from the place where you started from. Okay, can we now move from this small office to a larger office? What stage do we move from this state to that state? What stage do we go national? What stage do we say, okay, yes, we want to move from this country to that country? So these are things, are components. Then the feasibility study comes in to let you see. That shows you who are in that business space that you need to compete with. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So you are able to identify those, and then it's just like your Bible that you go to every now and then to see, are we still on track? Have you deviated? Do we need to tweak anything? Do we need to add or remove, and all of those?
And then the feasibility study?
Yeah, the feasibility study will give you the fair knowledge about the environment, your competitors, and then the government policy, then the response of your target audience to the products or services that you are offering. So that is what gives you that understanding, the feasibility study.
Now, over time, I've seen a lot of persons dread business, really. They believe that, I've heard people say that business is actually for the extraordinaries, is for the superhumans. Those who are genius, they are the only ones who can go into business. And it's actually, I think it's the fear of the unknown that makes a lot of persons not want to, or not want to go into business because of the fear that they have for for failure, and then for an outcome that may not be favorable to them at the end of the day. Why do we have this fear really? And then first and foremost, is it true that business is actually for the extraordinaries alone, for the geniuses alone, and then if one is not a genius, one should steer clear of business?
Well, business is not for the genius alone or the extraordinary. However, business is not for the faint-hearted. If you want to go into business, you have to be a bold person. You have to be resilient. You have to be daring. You have to, be ready to go into it with all your heart, with everything that you have got. Like I said earlier, it is not like you can work for 3 hours in a day. Business duty calls around the clock as a business owner. You need to be on your toes. So, of course, for people who think it is for the genius, that's because maybe they see the kind of effort that needs to be put into any endeavor that you want to venture into. You need to, so if you are really not determined, you are really not committed, you are really not disciplined, you may not be able to sustain yourself in the business space.
So what are some of the qualities really that one, okay, you have mentioned the fact that one has to be daring, one has to be resilient, bold, and then be courageous to face challenges. And then when you fail, what should really be the response? Because failure will surely come. And then when that happens, what should be the response like?
The response is to dust yourself up and then
Move
still
on.
go again. You go again. You don't have anywhere to run to. You go again. That is the word of business. It is not all rosy. You go in there believing that you make this X amount, then at the end of the day, you are not even halfway to that targeted profit margin, or something happens maybe due to government policy, some external factors that are not even within your control. Now, once those happen, you don't just chicken out. You go again. That's the greatest strength that you can have. You tell yourself tomorrow is another day.
Never take failure for answer.
Never take failure.
And then in the words of Richard Nixon, a one-time president of the United States of America, he said winners never quit.
Winners never quit.
And quitters never win. So if you quit, know that then you become a failure.
Yes.
But once you never quit, you have that mindset of going again and again.
Yes.
Definitely one will win at one point in the other. Now let us look at the money, the size of money that one needs really to start a business. Do I need a humongous amount of money to start a business?
Yeah, depending on the idea, it's not something that can be predetermined by any expert. You have your idea, and then it is the idea that will give you the fair knowledge of how much will be needed to start that business. But of course, what an expert can do, of course, because when you have idea, you may need to also have these people that you talk to, experts per se, for the opinions. If it's a business field where we already have players, to ask them of what can be done. Then okay, you may be having a very huge picture of what you want to do, but your source of fund could be the one that will tell you, can you please scale down? Scale down, start at this small stage, then after a while, find a means of bringing in more funds. So because naturally, when you have an idea, it is really very difficult to seek for funds based on the idea you have on paper. People want to bring in their fund for something that is feasible, that is practical, that they can see, not just an idea on paper. Yes, idea is good, and all of that is, you can tell them this is unique and all of those, and no idea is entirely unique. You can have a unique idea now. If you don't step into it and begin to run with it, in the next few months you see it coming up from another space. I'll be like, this is my idea. Nobody has stolen your idea because it is not entirely unique. So the idea that you have will determine how much is needed. Then your understanding of the market will also tell you, see, start at this small stage. Then from there you can move up.
So the money should not scare people really.
No.
For you, the idea and the money, which is more important really?
The idea is important. Money is equally important.
Now, if money is important, I mean, there are two schools of thoughts really. Who have advised new business entrants on how to source for money when they want to go into business, particularly when they do not have that startup capital. Some have said, yes, go take a loan and then, float your business. Others have said, don't take a loan. You can sell the little property that you have, or better still, call your friends and family members, help them, tell them to help you raise funds, for you to float your business, to fund your business. Which of the schools of thought would you stick to?
I belong to that school of thought that believes you don't take a loan to start a new business. Because it's a terrain that you have not worked. It's a business that you have not done. For you to be able to, because for any loan that you want to take, there is a ready-made layout on repayment. They have done this. So now, how do you want to ensure that this layout of repayments can be met by your own business plan and projection? You need to, that's why it is very important that you understand that, okay, I can start at this stage if I cannot start in that large scale. So when you now have the practicability of that exercise, you already understand that, okay, in 2 months I can generate this revenue. If I have this revenue, I remove this and this, then I will be able to pay for the loan that I've gotten. Then you can bring in the loan. Otherwise, you will be setting yourself up for failure by just going for loan and then except the loan is such that it will give you enough moratorium, a period where you won't pay, like 6 months or some loan. I mean,
and then when the interest rate
is not throat cutting and all of those, then maybe you can. And it will now require that you are very disciplined to ensure that the fund is well applied and then you are able to repay. You don't want the banks or the financial institutions to start running after you. You are thinking of servicing your customer, you are thinking of repaying your loan. Those are the things that kills an entrepreneur very fast.
Now, earlier on while you were talking, you also emphasized the need to consult those who have gone ahead of you in starting that business and then they are doing well in that business. But a lot of times, the challenge really is that most of these masters in the business really do not reveal the secret of the business to those who come to them, for consultations. Because it is believed that when they reveal the secrets of the business to these new entrants, they may overtake them, and then they become, irrelevant in the market. What's really your thought on that?
Yes, there are people like that, and there are some that will naturally dish out advice to you, and in some cases where you may not be able to tap from them directly, you can pick up their books and read. I mean, most of the time when you read books written by some of these successful people in the business that you are in, you are able to get an inkling into their thinking pattern, and you'll be able to.
It may not be expressly stated, but you can actually deduce.
So people today have mentors that they have not met, and they are indoctrinated by the principles of those people through the books they have read.
Now, another thing he has actually said again is that as a business person or a new entrant, I mean, in the business world, you must also cultivate the habit of reading, as you can, gather so much knowledge and information from that aspect. As we coast home, let us look at registering a business. It's a principle in Nigeria that for you to float a business, you should register. It's advisable you register. Now, let us look at registering that business or registering a business. What are the advantages really in registering one's business, and are there disadvantages when you do not get to register your business?
There are advantages. I mean, it cannot be overemphasized. If you want to have the needed corporate outlook, you need to have your business registered. I mean, you want to be dealing with people who want to do some background check on you. They want to see if the business is registered and you are an outfit they can go home and sleep and while doing business with you. So you have to be registered, have a corporate bank account. But it may not be the first thing, but you must ensure that it is part of the first stages of things, even while you are doing your business, that you need to do. Oftentimes you see people who have the opportunity to do some business with some companies individually, and then they are not registered in any way, and they need to pay them. And then they discover that they want to write the check in the business name they are using, which is not registered. And then by the time they run to CSC to register at that time, the name is already taken. It becomes a problem. So it is something that has to, so if you have a product, you need to also find a way of getting the patent for that product, so that it will not be, you don't have infringement on your rights to own that product.
We've been speaking with Mr. Oluwasegun Elegbede, and we have been talking about factors to consider when starting a business. He has mentioned quite a number of these factors, and then he has also told us that you must, as a matter of fact, have the qualities of being bold, of being courageous, of being daring, of being a reader as well. All of these you must actually possess for you to actually do well in your business. We must thank you so much, Mr. Oluwasegun Elegbede, for your time with us. It has really been a wonderful time discussing how to go about starting a business, and I'm sure that whenever we extend an invitation to you again, you would oblige us.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, and we wish you the very best in your endeavors.
Thank you.
The program is still The Profit Point right here on Ogtv. Let us go on this break. When we come back, it's going to be time for the sectorial review, where we are going to be looking at a business idea that you can actually put your money in. The program is still The Profit Point right here on Ogtv. Do not go anywhere. The Profit Point is still the program, and this is the sectorial review segment. If you're looking for any business that you want to put your money in and you will not get to regret later, well, this segment is actually for you. We take a look at different business ideas and we bring those who have been operating or practicing that business to come and share their experience with us. Some of the things that you need to do, to go into it, what you need really, and how you can go and expand your business. And I'm so sure that when you stick to Ogtv and you watch the Profit Point, you definitely will not run out of business ideas. Today we are going to be looking at the business of photography. Yes, the business of photography. And for those of you who may think that it's only men who are into this business, well, I have a photographer in the studio, and the person happens to be a lady, Ifedolapo Makinde. It's a pleasure having you in the studio with us. Really. Now, it's a male-dominated business, photography, and you are actually in that business. How is it like, really? What even, first and foremost, caught your fancy in photography, and how has it been so far?
Well, it has been tremendous so far. Well, I got to really like photography when I was in the university. That would be Obafemi Awolowo University. I was opportunity to be in a studio. I just loved the old paparazzi of the pictures, the lights, the cameras, and the poses. So I fell in love with photography at that very moment, and since then I've not regretted it. It's been amazing.
And did it occur to you really that yes, I'm going into a male-dominated business space. It will really not be easy for me. Did it cross your mind really?
Well, it never crossed my mind that it will not be easy. Actually, there's no profession that is actually easy. But then photography, maybe in Nigeria, we look at it like, oh, it's meant for men, it's men-dominated. But when you look to other countries, America, UK, you see that a lot of ladies are into photography. A lot of top-notch women are photographers, like Sue Bryce and what have you. Well, what I saw in the art is that men actually kind of look down at you like, oh, what can she do? Until they see your pictures or they see the way you do your stuff, they'll be like, oh, she's okay, she's all right. They wouldn't acknowledge it to your face, but you hear rumors like, oh, IMC, she's very good. That's what I feel. I think I'm a challenge to some of them. I try my best.
And then the saying that what a man can do, a woman can also do.
Do better.
Can also do. Really.
Okay.
Okay, now let us look at it critically. Okay. How has it been? How many years have you been in the business?
Okay. My first official class, although I had several unofficial classes, was in 2010 by Campus Business Network back then in school. Then a guy, also a student, took us into photography. And then I would say that photography, when you look at it, people think it's just about passion and all that. Actually, you need passion to be a photographer, but it transcends from there. Now, a lot of photographers are in Nigeria, in Ogun State now, and we are trying to make a good business out of it. So I hope I got your questions well. That answer you well. Yeah. So I feel that looking inwards into Abeokuta, we have a lot of photographers, and it's not longer the business as usual. Like you go to events and you see all these so-called nakams, like, oh, nakam. Even some people see you in some event and be like, oh, don't snap me. I'll be like, no, I'm the official photographer. Like, no, I'm not a nakam. So that's the challenge in Abeokuta, especially. People, no, don't snap me. They found their face, like, don't snap me. I don't have money, but I'm just trying to also use the opportunity, this platform, to create awareness that we are photographers, we are learned people, we are educated, and we are taking photography in Ogun State, especially from the old NACAM system to, okay, you have to pay a good sum of money to get these very beautiful pictures. Yeah.
Okay, now, your story, I mean, from what you said and how you got into photography, your story is not the same with those who actually got into handwork and the rest of them because of absence of white-collar jobs.
Okay, true. Well, I've been opportunity to meet a lot of core members, and when it gets to that last month that Alawi will stop, they kind of go, I don't know, they kind of go into a little bit of depression because they are confused that, okay, what am I going to do after now? The only opportunity I had was that I had something doing when I was in school. And even during the process of serving the country, there is this program that called Said. They make you aware that there is no white collar job for you. Learn a trade. They give us different.
They are not enough.
enough to go around. I think they are very direct. When they come, they are very straightforward. So pick a trade, learn a trade. There are a lot of them in Camden. So I had the opportunity, but a lot of people didn't have that opportunity. So, but I would just advise that because of Nigeria of today, you have to look around. What do you like? What do you see out that you love doing? Get busy. You might not get the money at once like that, but if there's a process, not like because you don't have any job, then you have to settle in for something. No, even when you're in school now, pick a trade. Can even do a business, so that when it comes to like you didn't get a job, you are not found wanting. That's what I would really say.
Now, you talked about some of the challenges that you experience from people in the course of doing the job. What other challenges really does the business of photography really throw at you?
Yeah, I would say getting the gears, because the cost of startup is not easy. Like getting the gears are very expensive. If you want to get a good camera, I think you'll be looking at between 600K and above. And when you look at that, you just look at it like, where will I get this money from? Like your parents cannot even afford it sometimes. They'll be like, I don't know what to do. So what people are now doing, we have some people that do it as a business. They rent gears out. So you just have to know a good and reliable one that, okay, when you get their camera, it's not like it will mess you up when you're at an event. You just have to look around and see good servicing companies that rent their gears out, and you can easily go there at affordable prices and use it for that event while you are saving up for your own gears. I mean, camera is very important. At least if you don't have all the lenses, get a camera. At least you are rest assured of yourself.
Now, you said that photography really caught your fancy when you were in our institution.
Yes.
Now, when you now eventually made that decision to go into the business, what step did you take? Did you go and do apprentice somewhere to understudy how the job is done, or you are among those who actually learned from YouTube and other?
Okay, well, I didn't learn from YouTube. Me, I got like 2 or 3 mentors I was looking up to. I had some that I actually worked with, because when I was in school, I had opportunity in working in a lot of studios, but that was not the dream just to be a studio photographer. I wanted to be an event photographer too. So I looked around. I mean, I was just opportunity to be at a wedding and I saw a photographer, and I approached him like, oh, I love photography, I would like to learn. And then we exchanged numbers, and I got into his own photography business, and he sends me out on events single-handedly, and then it helped me also learn on the job. So you need mentors.
Give you the exposure.
To give you the exposure. You need mentors to put you. You know, they've experienced a lot of things. They will tell you the things to do and not to do. So it's pretty much straightforward. Although you have to learn yourself, but they help you. I think, okay, if you have to buy this kind of camera, don't buy this kind of camera. Or if you have to go and print your stuff, don't go to this studio. I've gone there, it's not so good. You know, they tell you things to do. Oh, if you want to approach for a business, they tell you how to go about it.
Now, how many years have you been into this business now?
Okay, that should be 2010, and roughly that should be 13 years, I guess. Yes.
Now, the early stages, did you have to, start with, from your shop, from an official office, really, or you were operating from your house? Or what's really the difference between when you're operating from the house and then you're operating from, an office that is, accessible? Okay,
when you're operating from your house, it's pretty much difficult because when you have clients that wants to take portraits, like they want to have their own portrait, then you start looking for studios that would, like, you can get in and use their studio and take pictures. But most times the prices that you even charge your client is not so much enough for you to afford to rent for a studio. So, but by the time you work hard, it doesn't happen in a day, and you get your own space. It can be a corner in your room, and you put your light up and you take pictures. It's very good. It's better for you because then you get to have your own money. You don't pay anybody to get anything done. You use your own space and all that. So it's very good because even you have a meeting point. I have my own studio, so I have meeting points with people.
After how many years?
After how many years? I just recently moved to a new place.
Okay.
I used to have a place, but it was pretty small. So I would say like that should be like that should be like 4 years back or something. I got a space, a very small space, but now I have a bigger one. But that's not the dream. I still want to have a bigger space. So it's more comfortable when you have your own space, and then people see you like, oh, she's very classy. You know, you have your own space. They come to your own space. You're a boss of your own. They're like, oh, I think you are rest assured that if they bring their business here, they are covered. They don't have any issue to fear that, oh, maybe their pictures will be bad or something.
Now, for those who still have that notion that, what is there in all this photography? I have my phone I can use to snap pictures. My iPhone has high resolution cameras and the rest of them. Or I can borrow my friend's iPhone even if I cannot afford the iPhone. You know, I can borrow my friend's iPhone and snap pictures with it. Now, what will be your reaction to such notion?
Okay, yeah, we have very good phone cameras now, I must say, but then when it comes to professional cameras, they are more dynamic than phone pictures.
Can do a lot.
They can do much more than phone picture can. Like if you get your picture and bring it to a system, there's still some things that you see like, oh, if I had used a camera, although now some phone cameras, they have a flash attached to it, but then I would just really say that when it comes to photography, there are a lot that has to do with it. You have to consider your light. There's other things that you have to play with to get a good picture. Necessarily phone cameras cannot do it. And then printing. Sometimes when you print from a phone camera, the resolution is not as good. It may look good on yours, oh, it's very fine, but when you print it out, there's a lot of difference between a captured picture with a very good camera than a phone camera. I say, yeah. And you cannot be moving. How much picture can you take with your phone? Can you be moving around, jumping around with your phone? No, you can't. Like, can you cover a wedding with your phone camera? No, you can't. So it just stops at you taking a good pictures of yourself or your family member. But when it comes to the event, you can't take your phone camera to a client space and say, oh, I want to take a picture with my camera. No, you won't. He or she won't take you serious. So the two have different things they are trying to satisfy. You want to take a good picture of yourself with your phone, fine, but you can't take a good picture with my camera to a client's house and say, I want to snap it with my phone. And I'm sure she will walk you out. He or she will walk you out. So it's really different. Although people say, oh, I have a good iPhone. No, it's not the same thing. It's not.
Now, looking at the business, is this something that you can combine with other things?
Okay. Yeah, sure, you can combine photography with a lot of stuff. Like, I know even abroad, people work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. I would just have to say that if you feel or you know based on your income, if your cash flow, you see that, oh, I can really stay on my own with photography. I mean, the country is really hard. If you feel that, oh, the money that you're getting is enough for you, all well and good, but looking at all the things you have to get, all the gears, they don't come cheap. So you have to sit back and see that what other things can I do to ensure I'm comfortable. That's just, you can, right now I'm doing my master's, so at least I'm combining that with photography. So, I mean, if you put your mind to anything, you can achieve it.
Now, let us look at the business also. How lucrative, you talked about, I mean, if one is satisfied with what one is making and the rest of them, how lucrative is the business? Is it something that you can be bold to say, yes, I'm a photographer and I can, do this and this and this with it?
Well, in Nigeria currently, there's a lot of prestige when it comes to, oh, I'm a photographer. People look at you like, wow. You can achieve a lot as a photographer. Like, how would I say it? There are photographers that are covering presidents and governors. I mean, even when they come for seminars, you look at them like, oh God, this guy is doing so well. I would like to, you aspire to be like them. So I feel that photography is a good business, but it's just a gradual business. I know people that charge a lot for portraits. I mean, you have T.Y. Below, you know, it's a very lucrative business.
Portraits, you mean passport?
Portrait is not passport. Like
that passport that we stick to forms and just
that's passport. Portrait is when you take a picture of yourself. Yeah, that's a portrait. Yeah.
Okay. Now let us also look at the business, and then you into the business over time. Any regret so far? If you have the opportunity of changing the hands of time, will you prefer, if there is opportunity to do that which you have gone to school to study, would you rather choose that over photography?
Well, I know that I would have chosen photography. If I had this insight right back, I would have preferred to go to a school, like maybe study abroad and study photography. Like it's a very good field, it's very good art. Yeah, it's a very beautiful field to be. Yeah, I don't have any regrets.
Now, for the benefits of those who are watching and then they are developing interest in photography already, is the business all about just coming out and then taking pictures and that's all, and then you process it and then you give it to them? How broad really is it?
Well, photography has a lot of different parts. You can have a studio photography. You can have studio photography, like you take portraits. That's portrait photography. You can have street photography, food photography, architecture. That's you also have landscape, architectural photography, when you take buildings and what have you. So photography is very broad. Like there are a lot of things that you can specialize in. I know people that only specialize in street photography. And I mean, they are getting a lot of money from it because you get to also put your pictures online, into stock photography. And also, when it comes to framing now, you can frame your pictures. You can put your pictures on your shirt. You can put your pictures on your mugs. Now you can take pictures virtually of everything.
It's also part of what you do.
Product photography, yes.
It's also part of what you do.
Right now, I only do wedding events photography and portraits for now, lifestyle portraits for now. Hopefully, I'll get to branch out.
Now, did you really at any point, yes, you said you had some persons who were mentoring you really. Yes. How important really was their roles, in mentoring you? I mean, because it's also important that one understudies, the masters, those who have gone ahead before one in doing that business. How important? Were they teaching you the secrets of the business?
Okay, it's really important to get mentors. Even if you don't have a business plan, you have to have a mentor, or mentors that really put you through. Because when it comes to mentorship in photography, you have them taking you out on events. You have them you have them taking you to clients' house that they are going to have pictures with, take pictures of. You see how they relate with their clients. There's a way you have to relate with your clients. You have to make your clients feel comfortable. There's some people that feel like, oh, I am fat, I'm plus size, I don't look good in pictures, or if I smile, I don't look good in pictures. So you have to make them relax and be rest assured that they're going to get the perfect picture of themselves. You just have to do your job, positioning them to see their beauty that they don't really know that they have. So when it comes to also mentorship, you have your mentor taking you step by step in Photoshop. And also, when it comes to studio, you have to learn also how to position your light. Although over time you can have your own style of putting your light, but there are some basic styles of positioning your light that you have to also learn. So they do that for you. Although there's YouTube and all that, but when you have somebody physically telling you this is how to go, this is what you do in your business, this is how to have a price. When people ask you, can I see your price list? This is how to really have a price list for your stage. This is the stage you are in. You cannot be charging so much because you want people to know you that, oh, I can actually do this also at a reduced cost, so that over time then you can go from there. You can grow from there rather.
Now, as we costume, let us look at some of the environmental challenges that you may be experiencing peculiar to Nigeria and then Ogun State.
Okay, when it comes to environmental, that would just have to do with the like aesthetics. I don't know whether that's right. When you look at the environment, when you take some pictures, some very beautiful landscape and all that, there's a way the picture will look. There's the ambience. So we don't really have that in Abeokuta. And also, if you even want to get some places that you want to do that, you have to pay through your nose. Like they're quite expensive. So beautification of the environment, parks and all that. So that will also help when you take good pictures.
Now, in learning the trade, how long would you advise that one should subject oneself to training?
Okay, well, anybody can take a good picture. Anybody, you can, out of your several pictures, you can get a good picture, but then there's some process that you still have to go through. Like, people just feel that since I have a very good camera, I can take a picture and it's fine. But then there's some process you have to learn, and it's all about light and shadows. How to take a good picture that, okay, you have a very good, well-lighted picture. Sometimes you want to create a style like, okay, I want this shadow to look this kind of way. So you have to do all that. You have to know all that to help you. It's not just carrying your camera and taking pictures. There are some rudiments that you have to know. You can also read books and watch online.
As we close to, I want you to advise youths out there who may want to go into photography or who are actually into another business or learning another trade, advise them. I mean, briefly.
Okay, I just want to say to viewers at home that, well, you need to position yourself. You need to realize that Rome was not built in a day. You don't have to make this quick money that is in town now, like you see your friends are driving expensive cars and all that. You have to look at the long-term picture. How do you want to tell your story? So I want you to pick up a trade. Give it time, put in your best, and you see it will grow. You just plant a seed and it will germinate, it will grow. So just wait and be patient. Find a trade, get busy. Don't look at what is varieties around. Get a trade, learn it, and then you'll see that in no time you'll be able to say that this is what I do and tell people about it too, like I'm doing right now.
Maybe you had motivational speaking to your trade.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for your time with us this morning.
Welcome.
Madam Ifedolapo Makinde.
Yes.
And of course, we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Your endeavors. That is the size of the program, The Profit Point, right here on Ogtv. Next week will be another time. I'm saying do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.